Good morning, church. It's good to see everybody. As Titus said, this is my good friend Bob Nealon here. To most of you, he needs no introduction. Bob and his wife Ann have served just tirelessly and faithlessly in the church here in Nashville for many, many years. And we just thought it'd be great to be able to get Bob to come and just share a little bit. Ann, actually, please be praying for Ann. She's gotten to a place with her health that she's no longer able to come on Sundays. But nobody could keep Bob from showing up. And he just is determined that he's going to be with us. And we just are so grateful for Bob and Ann and their just their inspiration through the years. So we wanted to just take advantage and chat for a few minutes. As Bob and I talked about this, he said that what is most on his heart is he just wants to share about how grateful he is. And I just think, wow, that's so inspiring. And so Bob, thank you for wanting to be able to spend a few minutes here and spend time with us. And so, I think what we talked about is just, even from your upbringing, you were just sharing how your upbringing instilled just a profound gratitude. So maybe you can just start at the beginning and tell us a little bit about why you're such a grateful man.
Well, at a very early age, actually, probably around age 9, I realized that from a worldly point of view, that I had been born into a great situation with my family. And I knew I didn't deserve it. I love a phrase that Sarah Young uses in her book, Jesus Calling. She has Jesus saying, his kingdom he says, my kingdom is not about earning and deserving, but it's about believing and receiving. And I knew I'd received a whole lot. I was very, very grateful for it. But I really didn't know how to reach out to God. The 3 times I went to church in my early life, I just went with some friends that went to an Episcopal church. But then, when I got to UT, the lady or the girl who walked beside our company commander in the same company that I was in was Ann. And it took me a while to get courage enough up to ask her for a date, but I finally did. And so I found out right away that if I was going to see Ann on Sunday mornings, Sunday evenings, and Wednesday evenings, it was going to be at church. And actually, as I got acquainted with people in the Church of Christ, even though it was a mainline church, it wasn't the discipling ministry like this, but still there were a lot of great people that I met in various churches of Christ. And so I started studying and talking with some of the people. And 4 months after our wedding in August of 1954, I was baptized by the same preacher who married us. And so that was the start kind of things. And
So then God blessed you with 2 wonderful boys.
He did, I tell you. He blessed both of us, Ann and myself, with 2 great ones. Reese has now been in the ministry over 35 years. That's more than half of his life, the years that he's lived. And Blake was in the ministry early on, but he decided he wanted to get into business. Now he has his own business in Marietta, Georgia, and we're just very proud and everything and all. And they both married Florida girls. Reese married Mary Kay Smitherman in 1982, and Blake married Leanne Lucas, Chuck and Ann's daughter, in 1985. And so when you add up all the years from 82 and 85 and 1954, it's a lot of years that we able to receive, and we're just very, very grateful for that.
And the boys going off to Florida was a big part of you and Ann's spiritual journey. Is that
Right, yeah. Yeah, when Reese got there, he called us not too long after he got to Florida, and he wanted some advice as to what church he should go to. He said that the one he liked best was Church of Christ, Crossroads Church of Christ. And so he proceeded to tell us a little bit about them, you know, like males hugging each other and that sort of thing. And so he asked me, he said, I like this church better than any others. What should I do? And I told him, I said, well, the best advice I can give you is this, just be sure they're scriptural. If they're scriptural, just because they're different, you like them, go for it. So he did, and we had a great time, of course, and he was baptized as a disciple there in Florida. And then Blake, after Reese did that, he transferred from he was at UT Martin actually for a little while, but he decided to transfer to Florida because he said, I need what those people have. So I was so proud of him there. So it just worked out great for the whole family.
And then through them, you and Ann ended up visiting the sister church up in Boston.
Right. We went up there when they were both in the ministry to spend a little time with them. And Reese got Al and Gloria Baird to study with us. And we were very convinced, having seen all the great changes in our two boys. So before we left there, Reese baptized me as a disciple, and Blake baptized Ann as one.
Amen. That's awesome. And then how did you end up here in Nashville?
Well, at the time that we were here, we moved to Nashville in order to grow more spiritually. It was the main reason, because at that time, the Nashville church was the only discipling ministry church in the state. Knoxville hadn't yet gotten theirs. And we actually arrived here about exactly 1 year after the church began in 1988. We arrived here in August of 1989. And it's just been a great situation all of the time.
So you chose to leave Knoxville, the Knoxville area, and come here because it's what you felt like you needed to do to continue to grow spiritually.
That's right, yeah. Actually, it was by that time it was from Kingsport instead of Knoxville. We had spent some time in Kingsport.
So and then obviously you've served for years here, and Bob served for a while as an elder in the church here. Until just, his health wouldn't allow him to continue to serve in that role. But you and Ann have continued to serve. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your years of service here in Nashville.
Yeah, well, it was just a great privilege, the greatest privilege I could ever have to have been an elder from the summer of 2003 to the summer of 2006. But by that time, Ann and I were in our middle 70s, and much as I loved the position that they had put me in, we had a lot of late night meetings, and which meant we would be driving home in the dark, and late hours and all. So I just, and Ann was beginning to fail with her health situation and all. So I just decided that I'd better step down, but I didn't want to let up on trying to be the best disciple that I could be.
Wow, that's inspiring. So you just feel like God has blessed you so much through these years. And I know that you've shared with me on a handful of occasions, and you wanted to share with the church just a a motto or an expression that inspires you and that you feel like encapsulates this gratitude that you have?
Well, I can't remember who said it. I wish I could, but I picked up on a slogan or whatever you might want to call it, where the saying goes like this: motivated by love, assured of my salvation, but never satisfied where I am spiritually. We can never be at a point where we think we know it all, because we don't. And so that's been kind of my motto. The verse that I love is from 1 Samuel 2:30, just a part of that verse, where God says, "Those who honor me, I will honor." So I've tried to do that the best I can.
Wow. Bob, you've been an inspiration. You really have, to all of us, and how you've tried to live in such a way to honor God. We just want you to know we love you. We're very grateful for you. If we can just show our appreciation to Bob here for the few minutes we've been able to have.